Okay. All right. We did it. We are live. We
Yeah, I
haven't
did
used
say it.
StreamYard. Yeah, we haven't used StreamYard in like a minute. So it took us a minute to figure out if I'm supposed to hit the little button or if it starts up on its own. So, anyways, everyone, I am Dalia.
And I'm Alma. This is Nightmare on Fifth Street, a horror movie podcast live stream.
Yay! Okay. And today it's a special live stream because we are celebrating my birthday and I am special. Therefore, it is
Dalia's
a special
birthday.
live stream. Oh, tonight it's not
Of
tonight,
course.
but it's the month.
Mhm.
It's the month of my birthday. So,
Birthday month.
I got to choose the movie and I chose several movies and I decided to just go
Mhm.
for it and do the Final Destinations. All of them. All 8 of them.
Oh.
I'm kidding.
I-
All 5 of them and we're just let's just get started, man, because there we got 5
okay.
movies to discuss here. So let's just go for it. Okay, Alma. Um I thought it'd be a little fun first to start off and choose our favorite of the series. There's one, two, three, four, five. Alma, which one's your favorite one?
The first one. The first one is easy. It's got Devon
Really?
Sawa in it. Yeah. That's the best one. I can watch it over and over, but like I said, I won't watch it over and over. I have to watch them all, which is why I end up having freaking marathons of it all the time because I'm like I love it. The vibe of it, it's exciting. I think it was probably because I saw it like originally when it was like in the theater and everything. So it was exciting and different, and therefore it's the best one.
I don't think I ever saw any of them in the theater. Not even the
I think I
3D
did.
one.
Oh, definitely saw that one in the
Did you?
theater. Yeah.
That must have been
If
so
if
bad. Oh
it's
my god.
3D, if it's 3D, I'm gonna go watch it. It's like you have to go watch anything that's 3D. It's usually stupid, but it's way fun. You have to.
Okay, okay. So my favorite one is actually the final. No, it's not the final destination because the final destination is 4, but the last one is which is Final Destination 5. And for Hi Bianca, so for obvious reasons, it's because it's the prequel. I just love that it's just like it all comes loops around and it's just like and then when we get to part 5, well, I have questions. I have so many questions about it. So we can discuss that in a little bit. But that's my favorite, the part 5 out of all of them. Okay, Alma. So this could be controversial. Which one is your least favorite of all of them?
Oh shit. I'm probably gonna have to go with the third one. And you're gonna be like, I can't believe you didn't pick the 3D one. No, it's definitely the third one. It isn't anything in particular about it. It's just I think that I get really excited about each one in different ways. And by the time it was
Uh-huh.
the third one, it was just like, And even though I like it, I still like it. It's just it was just probably one that it was like I didn't think we needed it, and we
Okay,
got
which
it
one is that
anyway.
one? Because I have to go through them to remember which one it is. The third one is which one? Which
Yes, the
accident or
the
which
roller
thing?
coaster. Mhm,
Oh, okay. Oh, I like
mhm.
that one. Okay, okay, okay.
And
So
maybe
my
also because 'cause
least.
I'm already scared of roller coasters. Eee.
Oh, yeah,
Mm,
that one hit a little too close to home. I'm
mm.
terrified of roller coasters, so I totally get it. Okay, my least favorite of the series is part 4 for me because we kind of just discussed it a little bit. But it's also the most
Mhm.
I hate to say it because they're all great. They're all great. And none of them is boring, but it's kind of the most boring of them for me. The least
It's it
exciting, I
is
guess, for
still
me.
it is still kind of boring. It
It's still
is.
fun. It's still fun,
It's
but
too
it's
much
not as
CGI.
fun.
Yeah, it's like it's fun in a different kind of way, but it's just too much of the purposeful, like in your face kind of CGI, but that's honestly why I like it. It's the strangeness of the blood that doesn't hold up. It's the, throwing shit right across the screen and everything like that. And it's so dumb, but it just gets me.
Okay. So, all right. So we discussed our favorite, our least favorite, and let's just go for it. Let's just go get right into it. We'll discuss the first one. Final Destination came out in 2000. Oh my God, for real? This is so long
Ye-
ago. How the hell has
no,
this
it
many
wasn't.
times gone by? That's what you wrote, Final Destination 2000.
Oh, I know, but I was just saying to myself, like, nah, it
Okay,
wasn't like
okay,
it's
okay, okay.
not that long ago. Don't make us feel old, okay?
Okay. All right, Alma, go ahead and tell us who it was written by. We'll go through the actors and then we'll discuss. We'll
Okay, so
discuss. There
this
we
one
go.
was written by Glenn Morgan, James Wong, and Jeffrey Reddick, and directed by James Wong. It stars Devon Sawa. That's all we need to know, and Tony Todd, right? Okay, I'll see everybody else's in case. Ali Larder, Kerr Smith, Kristen Cloak, Amanda Detmer, Chad Danella, and Sean William Scott. Woohoo! It's actually a really good, fun cast. It's just like if you're with Devon Sawa, who's going to notice you're there? And then, of course, you got
Uh,
Tony Todd. So it's like, so you
yeah,
know he's
it
going to be in
actually is
it.
a
Where
fun
is he?
cast.
Uh huh.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I want to discuss real
And James
quick
Wan.
that for yes, I want to discuss real quick that for probably until last year. No, I think it was yeah, it was last year. This is so embarrassing. I thought the character's name was Claire. How did I not realize it was
Mm.
Clear? Because not only should I have realized her name was Clear, but they wrote it. They had it written so many times throughout the movies, the both of them. And I always thought her name was Claire until last year. And that's kind of embarrassing because she's like such a big part of it. But okay. So did we already read the short summary that you wrote for us? Go ahead and read it, Alma. Because I
Okay,
cannot
this
find
one is
it.
Alex Browning is among a group of high school students readying themselves for a trip to Europe. It's actually Paris that they're going because they're going to practice their Francais. When he suddenly has premonition, their airplane will crash. He's already like on the plane and he like snoozes for a second. And then he wakes up from this premonition that the plane is going to explode. The plane
Although real quick, I'm
actually,
going to interrupt you. I'm going to interrupt you real
uh,
quick because you said he's already asleep and the plane hasn't taken off. That was you, Alma. That was totally you when we went across an when we just recently traveled. You were asleep
yeah,
before we even took off.
I will totally fall asleep before a plane takes off. I cozy into myself, like I get my arms and I wrap myself up and I just like put my head down a little bit and I'm out. So that's funny because Devon Sawa, they told him to pretend he was going to be asleep and he actually fell asleep for 4 hours. And I'm wondering why didn't anybody wake him up? They let him take like a 4 hour nap while he was sitting there
How does
waiting.
that
Uh,
happen?
I have no clue. I just read it in
4
there
hours?
somewhere. Yeah, and I was like, that's really funny. So he has that premonition of everything. And then he wakes up, and for some reason, that pisses off this guy that he wants to get off the plane. It's like, mind your damn business. There you go. Sheree said it's because he was too cute to wake up. It's like, let him sleep, let him sleep. And they took sneaky pictures of him. There must be pictures somewhere. Somebody find them. Anyway, so they get in that little fight, and right away it kind of pisses me off because it's just like, if he wants to get off the plane, let him get off the damn plane. He's having an episode here. He doesn't want to be in it. Why was there a fight? Who cares? That's how they end up getting off the plane. And then the plane actually does explode.
Which was okay, I always do this, and I know it's stupid because it's just a movie, but I always do the whole thing because when they show the premonition, it takes a while. Everything that's happening makes sense. They take off, they're up in the air, when things start going wrong, et cetera, and then this explosion, right? When they get thrown off the plane and they're like in that little area where all the seating is by the gate, that plane takes off so quickly and explodes so quickly. It's like the timing isn't right. For some reason, it always pisses me off. It's like it took forever for everything to happen during the premonition, but the second it takes off, it's like kablooey. No, they were much further into the air, and it took some time. But anyways, I know that's not a big deal. It just always kind of bothers me when it does that. I know we're doing it for for the movie and all that stuff, but just have a little bit of continuity, guys. Of course, we are talking about a movie where death is alive and tracking you down and all that stuff. So.
So we could get in that
Whatever.
discussion. Is like, is it death really alive, or is this just a series of unfortunate events? I'm
It's
on
really
the
bad,
side
the
that,
shit that's going down.
yeah, there's a certain point in it where I'm like, he's making it like death is definitely a thing in this movie. It's definitely a thing. There's something there. It's a presence, and it's after them. But the peculiar thing is, it kind of like covering its tracks to make everything look a certain way, which
Right,
leads me
it
to believe, yeah.
does. It's
And that's why,
premeditated, man.
Yes, Death is like a killer in this one. It's like he's like a serial killer, and he's covering his tracks, and he's after them because they survived and they weren't supposed to. It's like the butterfly effect, you know, he's got to fix it and shit. Mhm.
Well, do you think that okay, so do you think death is, I don't know what the right word I'm looking, amoral? Do you think death is amoral, kind of like it is in the Supernatural series, where it's like not evil, but it just has to do its job? So if that means going back and killing all these
Yeah.
people who were supposed to die, cleaning up the mess. So could you say
Mhm.
that maybe is that death is not evil, it's just it has to do its job and it's cleaning up its mess? So which do
Well,
you
I
think, that
think
it's evil or not?
I think it's probably just kind of like neutral, but in this case, it's like it's like the entity is pissed because he didn't need to do all that. He was extra like every step of the way. It was
They
too
have to
much.
do a lot
Everything
of
is
work. Okay.
yeah, and it's like you could just, you know, I don't know, make him trip and fall down some stairs, but no, it's like a series of like circumstances, things that's getting messed with. It's
Yeah.
too many things for Death to have just said, I've come to take you. No, he's like, no, I'm gonna get you really good.
It has to do too many things to, like, that's why we see all these things like the water leaking and this little thing, the electricity not working here and etc. It's like one of these things is going to get you. I'm going to make sure of it, god damn it. So it does it. Okay. So we're talking about these movies, and in this one, Final Destination, I know we said our overall favorite kill earlier. Oh no, we didn't say that, did we? Did we share our favorite? Oh, we didn't. We'll save it to the end. We'll save it to the end because it's in the outline. But okay, for this one, Final Destination, the first one, which one is your favorite kill out of all of them?
Okay, I think I used to say that it was when Terry, the girlfriend, gets hit by the bus after telling her boyfriend to drop dead. Yeah. She got it. I always thought that that one was the best one. See, we have a comment here from Tracy, and it says that honestly, now that you say that, the girl getting hit by the bus got off really easy. That's why I used to think that was my favorite because I thought it was kind of surprised. But you're right, it was like out of nowhere, it was too quick. So I'm gonna go with the teacher. That's going to be my favorite kill because it was complete overkill. Because now that when I watch it, I'm like, I love all the extraness, you know, the fire, the knife falling, the chair falling
I
in it.
totally feel you,
Um,
man. I feel you.
yes. And then Alex is running in and he gets the knife out of the chest and he's, you know, and the explosion, it's all way too much. And it also makes him look like a murderer. And so I think it's
I
just
Yeah,
super
I agree with
dramatic.
you. Yes.
Mhm,
A
it's the
lot
best one.
going on. A lot going on. It Death wanted to make sure that it got her, and it got her good. Yes,
Mhm.
Sheree says that teacher's death was personal. and and um and that part always pissed me off when he grabs the knife. It was just like, what the fuck are you doing? Have you never watched anything ever in the existence of ever? He's all grabbing and putting his fingerprints all over everything and then running away very suspiciously. It's just like that always pissed me off in this one so much.
And
Okay,
it
all
was
right.
strange because I was going to say that, you know, the detectives that come in and they're like thinking that he blew up the plane, which was like so annoying. The thing is that it made him look really suspicious the whole movie because he kept being everywhere that everyone was killed. It was like, dude, just back off, hide something. He was everywhere and he shouldn't have been. So even though the airplane is like this kid really brought down a whole damn airplane. Every step of the movie, he totally looked like a killer. And
It was
then
also
it
really
never
fun.
really.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
I
Go
was
ahead.
just gonna say that, and then it didn't really even need to be done. Like nobody saw him with the knife.
Exactly. All I was going to say was it was kind of funny that as soon as again, we're talking about, it's all fictitious, but as soon as the plane crash happened, all of a sudden they're like, it looks like this, or the investigation isn't, conclusive, or it hasn't been finished. Duh, it takes years. And then, like, what is it, a week later they say it looks like it was blah blah blah. In all of these movies, it was always, it looks like it was blah blah blah. It's like, these kind of investigations take years. You don't know shit yet, so just shut up. And again, I know it's a movie about death coming for you and blah and all that stuff, but it just always bothered me. Like, just don't say it. Just don't say it. That way, I don't have to hang on that one little sentence throughout the rest of the movie. Okay, so because we got like 5 movies to discuss. You want to move on to the next one, or do you want to share something else about this? Oh, you got some trivia here, Alba. You want to share some of that?
Well, okay. Well, first of all, if you haven't seen it, because we have somebody in the comment section that mentioned they haven't seen all of them, but I'm pretty sure everyone's seen the first one. At the end of the movie, after everybody is killed off, it's kind of looking like 3 people are going to be the survivors. Dalia's Claire, who is Clear Rivers, which we make fun of the name all the time. It's just, there's nothing wrong with the name. It's just a peculiar name, because usually they have kind of blank, boring names in movies. So she is left. Alex is left, and then the jock who turns friend, and it looks like the 3 of them are going to survive, but one of them is taken out by that big sign. So then it kind of looks like there's 2 people who are left, and that's Alex and Clear, who are going to make it to the next movie. Now, what was the question you asked? Because I started talking and then totally forgot.
I just said, is there anything else you wanted to share about this particular movie, or
Oh,
did you want to share that trivia?
Okay, so Final Destination was written by Jeffrey Reddick after having read a story about a woman who was on vacation, and her mom called her and said, "Don't take the flight tomorrow. I have a really bad feeling about it." The woman switched flights, and the plane she was originally supposed to be on crashed. So that was pretty creepy, and I'm sure that's happened a few times, because I feel like anytime anyone's getting on a flight, they have a superstitious family member or friend who says, "Don't get on that plane."
Okay, but can I be the Debbie Downer in this situation? That sucks that she was supposed to be on a plane that actually did crash. But I'm going to be Debbie Downer, and just think of all that times the mom told her don't get on that plane because it's going to crash, and it never crashed. But the one time it does happen, that's the story you hear. So I always think about that. It's like you don't hear about all the other times because it's not interesting. But that was me just being a little Debbie Downer. But that sucks that happened. Okay, so the next piece of trivia: originally having written the script as an episode of the X-Files, see, I didn't know that, Reddick decided to turn the script into a feature-length film at the behest of one of his New Line Cinema colleagues. After reading his spec script, New Line Cinema hired Reddick to write the screenplay. James Wong and Glenn Morgan were later brought on board to help with the script, making alterations to comply with their standards. I wonder what those standards were. Do we have the tea on that?
No, I don't know what it is, but Reddick is credited in all 5 movies with story and character. So they're using his story characters, all 5 of them. He gets residuals, is that what you call it, for like all 5 movies because of his characters. So I wanted to make sure that I pronounced it correctly too, because I may have said it too quickly, but it was James Wong. Am I still saying that wrong? I feel like I'm not enunciating properly.
Now
Uh,
you're making me
and
overthink everything. Claire,
yeah,
Clear. I apparently don't know anybody's names. So
all the
what?
name. So it was based on the fateful flight to TWA 800, specifically the 16 students and 5 adults of the Montoursville High School. So it
And
that's
I
kind of sad.
remember I remember that flight because I always had a thing. I don't know if you remember when I was in high school that I wanted to go to France. That was like my big thing. I always wanted to go to France. And then when I heard about that plane going down, that just makes every fear of yours just come alive. And that sucks. But I do remember that one. Okay, that was sad, but we are here to discuss Final Destination, and the next movie is Final Destination 2. This movie came out 3 years later, 2003. I
Yeah.
did see, having watched so many of the movies, like constantly having these marathons that we do, I forget that there were
Hmm.
so many years in between them.
Hmm.
So Final Destination 2 came out in 2003. It was ooh, that's a fun name. Is it Mackie or Mackay? It's written by Jay Mackey Gruber and Eric Bress, based on story series, like we already said, by creator Reddick, and directed by David R. Ellis. Oh, okay. Alma, go ahead and tell us who are the characters and the actors.
Okay, we have AJ Cook, and she is the. I started listing these because I always put notes for my sister to just kind of refresh her memory. So in
Because
each one
I
of them,
suck
I
at
put
names.
I put basically information so it kind of jogs her memory. So in this one, it's a woman who's the premonition, who has the premonition. So each one I put like premonition girl, premonition boy. Ali Larder comes back as Clear because she has survived the first one. Tony Todd is back as the mortician. Michael Landis as Officer Burke. And these casts are really kind of big, but it's important to kind of say everybody because they all get like a good death. So I always make sure that I take note of everybody who's in it. So Keegan Connor Tracy is Kat, Terrence T.C. Carson is Eugene, Justina Machado as Isabel, James Kirk and Linda Boyd as Tim and Nora Carpenter, the mother and son, Jonathan Cherry as Rory, David Patkow as Evan, and Noel Fisher as Brian. So each one of
Oh,
the
that's a
cast
big cast,
members,
huh?
yeah, but those are all the people that are gonna
Mhm.
die. In addition to the freak accident on the road that is gonna take everybody in the logging accident. Now, is that like the point of origin for the accident is the logs, or something else make those logs like fall off of the semi
I
tractor
think it.
trailer or
I
whatever?
think. I think that's the whole point. That it was just a freak accident. The logs is
Hmm.
what I the way I. This is a fear that was, I think, a fear of mine. I don't know. Well, see, okay. So now you were talking about which one, if in the movie the logs, if that was the point of origin. But now I'm starting to
Hmm.
think: is my fear of driving behind logs and things being towed is the point of origin this movie, or did I have the fear before this movie? It's
I
like,
think
now
this
which one
movie
came
is the
first?
origin. Here's the you want to know what's funny is that I have so much anxiety all the time. Like I have to keep my anxiety in check. And yet I watch these movies and they really freak me out. Anybody else have that feeling? Because seriously, I see every little thing happening and it really piques my anxiety. So I think it was yesterday or the day before when I was watching one of them. I actually felt like I was going to have an anxiety attack. And I was like, why? Because I started thinking of every
It's
little tiny thing.
intense. Yeah.
It's too Each movie is really great at showing all those little things that build up, that little something falls,
Yeah.
walking under
Mhm.
something, tripping on wires, electric things, people not being safe, all that kind of
Yeah.
crap. And in this one, I think this logging truck gave everybody in the world like a fear of being behind logs, because who hasn't been behind a truck that has overloaded, has too much crap on it, and you think if any of that shit falls off, there you go. You're gone. You're
Yeah,
gone. So,
people driving around in their pickup trucks with furniture in the back with, like, not even a hand pretending to hold on to it, nothing. It's just like, "What the fuck, dude?" I mean, that's not even tied on there. But yeah, totally, that's a fear of mine, and yeah, maybe it was this movie that started the whole thing. I forgot to do it in the last one, but Alma, you had some taglines that you found here for this movie. The taglines that I see that Alma found, you're really good at doing this because I can only ever find one tagline, but it's not over yet. Even death gets a sequel, and you can't cheat death twice. So
mhm.
I like all those. I remember we were looking at some taglines for a movie that we recorded. The episode hasn't come out yet. Um, but the tagline, there was one tagline that was like 3 sentences long. It's like, that's not a tagline. And these
Oh
are taglines.
yeah,
These are perfect and succinct.
they definitely had some of these had some that are just look like quotes and they go on too long. And then by the time we get to the last one, you'll see that one of the taglines that they actually used for the movie gave away a part of the movie. So I definitely took note of that. But most of the time, I noticed some of the
Which one?
taglines
Do
because
we have to wait till we get to
the
it, or
fifth
which one?
one, yeah, the fifth one is it
Ah,
gave a spoiler. So each
yeah.
one might have something that it has a tag and it looks stupid. So I remember it like death's coming for you again. dot dot dot. And so I always take note of those because it just seems silly.
Okay, so for this one, Alma, which one is your favorite kill?
And this one, okay, the kid chasing the pigeons and that
Okay.
big plate of glass comes
Yeah,
smashing down on
yeah.
him.
So no, thank you. Yeah, because that's another fear of mine, like walking anywhere around there's any kind of construction. Okay, so basically everything scares the shit out of me. Walking in and out of this
Mhm.
room apparently will scare the shit out of me. But that was my favorite is Rory, who
Mhm.
is like the guy, in this. I guess he is. His death by the barbed wire that happens after the explosion, gnarly. So
Yeah, he
gnarly.
gets
I love that.
in the I think it said in the synopsis that he's trisected because I was trying to figure out how to describe his death. So that barbed wire that flies through him actually cuts him into three pieces and it's really messed up. And yeah, that one's a really good one. Whenever anybody falls into pieces, the
Yeah.
first
Oh my
thing
god.
I yeah, it's always kind of like, and I always think of Resident Evil when they make them into like beef stew chunks and
Oh, I was gonna say that's true. Resident Evil, the movie Cube, that's what it's called? I
Ooh,
haven't seen
cube
I haven't seen that in a while.
cube.
I don't know.
Mhm,
I haven't seen that in a while though. I don't know which one.
mhm.
There's like several of them. And then what's the other one? Oh, I just thought of it.
Ghost
Oh,
ship.
13 oh, Ghost Ship and
Mhm.
I was gonna say 13 Ghosts. Any of those movies that do that. When he slides off, when
Oh,
yeah,
yes, and he
and then he
gets cut
slides
this
and his back is
way.
still there. Oh, that's so
Those are
intense.
cool. Okay, so in this one, it's revealed because see, he was supposed to come back for this movie, Alex Devon Sawa, but he didn't get to come back for this movie. So there's a newspaper
¿Por
article when they're
qué?
doing their
Why?
yeah. I don't know. Does anybody know? If anybody knows, I would like to know. He wasn't able to return for this one, so they wrote him off in an article, and he dies by brick. A brick becomes dislodged in a from a building top and hits him in the head and kills him. Clear is left the only survivor of the first one and makes it over into this one. So
So
I'm
it
like, they
makes
wrote him
sense.
off.
Yeah, I was gonna say it makes sense that they would bring one person back. So I'm curious, at least one person. So I'm curious if is it because that he didn't come back that they had Clear come back? Because I like Clear being the one in this that comes back because she just seems, I don't know. I kind of love the idea of this woman survivor and the way she was at first. Oh, that's what I
Mm-hmm.
was gonna say too. Oh, Sheree says it was a contract dispute. Okay. Hmm.
Ooh, maybe they didn't want to
'Cause
give
you
him
know
his
why?
money.
I was gonna say because he by this point, he was probably, I don't know how what he was before, but, like, probably a mega star. Before he was just a mega
Yeah.
star, but then he became a mega
And then
star.
he
So,
he was super
yeah,
mega and they couldn't afford
yeah.
him. And
But
that's
I do
okay.
like Claire. I do like Claire in this one.
She made me really sad in the first movie because she had like nobody that cared about her. So I'm really it just makes me kind of sad because remember when nobody came to pick her up at the airport, she went to the funeral alone. In this one, she checks herself into a mental hospital for healthcare, mental health care, and but for no other reason than trying to stay safe. But
Yeah.
nobody cares about her. So it really made her a sad character to bring back
Mhm.
and then to kill off.
Yeah, so they unceremoniously killed off the first guy, I mean, from the first movie, and then I believe they unceremoniously killed her off in this one because how does she die? She dies by opening a door and like that explosion happening. She gets taken out like in a second. It was like
Yes.
nothing. She survives all of that, everything, for her just be whooshed
Yeah,
away in an
but
explosion, and that was it.
I'm thinking that that was actually pretty smart because of the fact that they brought her back. You think she's going to survive, and then they take her out. So it's like it kind of like knocks you out. Like what's that expression? Like it's out of nowhere. You know, it just blindsides you. It's like I can't believe they just took her out like that. And they took out two characters because the guy in the hospital also got taken out by that oxygen tank explosion. So in this one it was not so much like you really cared about any of the characters except for her because we don't really have any more background on them, you know. In the first
Yeah,
one
it's
you
kind
have
of weird.
yeah, you don't really know too much about anyone. And so and then you also don't think they're going to kill the kid and the mom, right? And then they take them out. They're like, everybody's getting got in this one. It doesn't matter who you are. And then they even had a pregnant character. So you're like, are they gonna kill the pregnant woman? Are they gonna kill the pregnant woman? Like there's nobody is
I like
off
the
the
way they have us
table.
guessing on that one, yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
So, yeah, and I don't think I always try to follow the rules of what they think the rules are in each one, and I don't think I've ever found
No.
any hard and
That
fast
was
rule that
stupid.
actually makes sense. It always seems like it changes, or maybe that's just me that maybe I don't pay enough attention, but it always seems like it changes, and from movie to movie, it's always different, and it doesn't really matter because
It
everyone's gonna
is.
get got, at the end
That's
of the day.
Well, that's the point, I think, is that it's almost like if I'm in the movie myself, you know how when you're watching a movie, you're coming up with every which way that something's supposed to work out, like, oh, it's this, it's that. And so you're just constantly guessing. That is the smartest writing of the movies because each one of them is trying to figure out how to stop this and just randomly throwing everything out there and wrong. And they're wrong because they don't save anybody and nobody survives.
Yep. And okay, so now we're moving on to Final Destination 3. Um, so this is in 2006, so 3 years and 3 years apart, it seems like we're
Mhm,
going. This
mhm,
one was came out in 2006, and this one is 6 years after students 6 years, see, after students
mhm.
cheated death, another teen has a premonition that she and her friends will be involved in an accident when the vision comes true. Oh my god. So are all of these summaries the same? It sounds exactly like the same as the other one. The student and survivors deal with the
Yeah,
repercussions of cheating the Grim Reaper. It sounds exactly the same, all of them.
yeah.
I just
I think
realized.
it's pretty much copy pasted unless you get into the details of this one is a roller coaster accident. And can I tell you
Roller
how
coaster.
fucking terrified I am of being on roller coasters? I can't do roller coasters. I got on this damn baby roller coaster up in Canada at Wally World or whatever the hell it's called. I can't remember what it's called. Wonder World. I have no idea. It's like Six Flags for Canada
I
and it
think
has
it's
like the
Wonder World. I think it is Wonder World, not Wally
yeah.
World. Wally World was pretend, I think. Was Wally World ever
Okay.
real? Okay, forget it. I'm gonna shut up now. Go ahead. Go on.
Well, anyway, I got on this baby ride and I was trying to be super brave. And it was like a swing that puts you around in circles like this. And it just swings you. And literal like 4 to 6 year olds are on this thing. And I'm fighting for my life on that thing with one of my kids holding on for dear life and pretending that I'm not terrified. Just like that time that I was on the jet ski and you thought I was having a great time. But the whole time I thought I was going to get eaten by sharks.
You did look like you were having a good time because your face had a huge smile and you were like this the whole time on the jet ski. You were having fun.
Canada's Wonderland. Oh, there you go. I'm like, who's calling me babe? I am married, sir. My husband popped in to tell me it's
You
Canada's
could have played
Wonderland.
along with it.
Right. I was going to do something that I thought would be really great for our Patreon and not wear any pants. And I would say, hey, and I told him, should I bother putting on pants? No one can see me below the waist. And then he was like, maybe you might have to stand up and someone would see. And I said, oh, maybe we'd get some new patrons.
That would be the one time. That would be the one time that you would have to stand up. Every other time you never do, but that's why
Never.
I'm always going to be wearing pants when we're recording these or we're doing a live
Because
stream.
you never know.
Sorry,
You-
people.
oh, but you know what I do have? I have Elmo pants on because one of my favorite things is that I don't ever match or have anything on that goes together. Like, do you like how people grown ups dress? Like
I
nothing with
don't.
that. I
I
so
have this
my
one. I hate people. See, you're wearing that one.
oh my
And then
gosh, we
my
both have mean shirt. Yeah, this one says
yeah,
I'll
and
see
then
you
my
in hell.
pants are oh see, my pants are Friday the 13th. And then so obviously I'm mismatching here. So yep,
I have Elmo
mismatching.
pants on and Chucky socks. So that
Oh,
is
that's
the outfit.
adorable.
I got up, got dressed, blow dried my hair, put some makeup on, and that's the outfit that I was committed to going places in. But anyway, so back to this
Okay.
movie.
Back to this
So
movie.
we're
This is the roller coaster one. Alma's afraid of
trust.
roller coasters.
Mhm.
I'm afraid of roller coasters too. And it's so funny because I'm gonna be jumping out of a fucking plane, a perfectly good plane in a couple, not
Dalia's
in a couple of weeks. Oh my God. Like in
next week.
9
Next
days.
week.
In 9 days, I'm gonna be jumping out of a plane, and I'm terrified. I'm fucking terrified. I've been trying to find ways to get
You
out
know
of
what?
it. It's
It
supposed to be for my birthday. I don't know why
Dalia,
I would I said I was gonna do it, and then
it's your
I
just
was called on
desserts.
my bluff was called, and
Mhm.
okay, anyways, and I don't even wanna step on a
So
roller coaster, it's my whole
no, I'm
point,
gonna
so let's go
mention
on.
it. I'm gonna mention it because Dalia is the kind of person who will call your bluff all the time. When we were going to go, when I was going to go to Vietnam, I didn't want to go, and Dalia called me on my bluff. I said, "I'll go anywhere that you want to go," so I went, and I
And
was
I said,
terrified the
"Vietnam,
whole
bitch."
way. Yeah, that's where we fucking went. And so she's like, I'm going to jump out of an airplane. And so now that's going to be her birthday gift. And she's going to be up in the sky trying to grab birds on her way down to the earth, try to survive that. So anyway, and this one, we have the roller coaster, which just is the wickedest crash. Each one of these like movies, the way that they show these epic like freak accidents, it's just the worst thing ever. It's like they're trying to save each other, and then it's like, and then it didn't happen, and then when it actually does happen, that person who survived it's like looking at the scene, and you can see kind of the terror because they already lived through that, and that kind of adds to the whole like suspense of it, the whole like anxiety, the sadness of the whole situation. And in the third one, we have another woman who is the one with the premonition. And Mary Elizabeth Winstead, she's great because she's like a great final girl because she comes out in like the Cloverfield movie. Which one was it? Cloverfield Lane. And she's really great in
The
this one.
second one, I don't know.
Yeah. And, but so she survives it, but her boyfriend doesn't. And then it's like her best friend dies on it, and then the other people that do survive are kind of like random other high school students, and she's trying to figure out in this one through a series of photographs that she took. So she's trying to save people in this movie, but obviously not doing it. And there's always like a little bit of something different about each movie, and so this one it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, the photograph thing.
I
And
felt really
they
bad for the girls who died in the tanning bed.
Yes,
I don't know why, I just felt really, really bad for them because I don't
they
think okay, none of them are
they
ever
got it.
really bad people, but for them too, I was like, they
Mm-mm.
really didn't do anything bad. They were sweet, and then, like,
Mhm.
they got
They
killed
were like,
horribly.
yeah, they had one of the worst deaths. So in this movie, would you say that one was the best death or the worst death? Or
Actually, no, I chose, uh, what did you have it here? I don't see, I'm bad with names, so you wrote the names down. Luis
which one?
Romero, death
Mhm.
by weight plates, smashing his head.
Oh,
L
that guy's
that
name
was
is Texas Battle. He
yes,
has the
yes.
coolest fucking name.
But yeah,
That
the
guy.
smashing like that was horrible.
Yeah, that one was a bizarre one. And why was he so like pumped the whole movie? He was like, yes, like the whole movie, and he's
That's
like
why he's
trying, and
called
he
Texas Battle, and that's why, he lives up to his name. Even his character was gonna be like, yeah."
yeah, he's like for no reason at all gets his head smashed like that. I don't want to ever pick the girls in the tanning booth because they even tried to include Wendy, the one who had the premonition, and they're like, "Come with us to go tanning," and they think they're being very nice, and it was just like really over the top and really awful to die like that. However, there is somebody who gets it in this movie that deserves it. Well, kind of the pervert, the guy who kept trying to take pictures, and he was the what is he? What's like Matthew McConaughey? You know, the girls get that gross thing that he says in the movie. I love high school girls. I get older, but they
Oh,
stay the same age.
yes, yes,
Remember,
yes, yes.
he's not in high school with these students. He's just a pervert that is hanging around with high school students. And so he gets it in the
Nasty.
back of the head. Yeah,
Yeah.
with the motor blade of that engine or whatever. And that was a really good death though, because they're escaping that whole time. Wendy and her ex and her best friend's boyfriend, they're the ones who are doing this together, trying to save everyone. And then unexpectedly, it kills the guy that's in front of them who happens to be that guy. So it was kind of like, it really
Small
kind of like
town,
popped in
man. I
that
always
Noah.
think the way these
Yeah.
things happen right on top of each other like that. The
Hmm.
tagline for this one was, "This ride will be the death of you." So, pretty
Ooh.
straightforward, it seems like.
That's right.
Uh, did you say which one was your favorite death?
Yeah, I said I picked him just because I think he
Oh, you
deserved it.
picked him as your favorite. Okay, because he
It's
deserved it.
okay.
Okay, all
I
right.
can say he deserved it because he's like not real.
He's not real.
Um,
Exactly. So whatever.
so
Uh,
some interesting trivia about the movie was they had to ride that roller coaster 26 times in the same night in order to shoot the film's main premonition scene. Can you imagine getting on that damn thing 26 times?
I don't even want to get
Uh,
on once.
I'm like, yeah,
Oh
they
my
definitely
god.
earned their money. And in this
Oh,
one, Tony Todd is in it, but only by voice. So you'll hear his voice in it and you can pick it up because he says like this is the end of the line towards the end of the film. And I think it's his voice that is used on the roller coaster because he wasn't available to be in the movie. And his
oh, okay.
yeah, and so his character is also kind of a point of um like consistency. He's our like to me he's like that little saving kind of grace face that you see in each of the films. However, he's not because nobody's living. It's like he's got information, but that information is not useful
It doesn't pan
because
out. Exactly. So like is
yeah.
he I always wondered if he was I know like literally because he's like the coroner or whatever, but
Dalia,
if he was it was him it was me the whole time. That's what I always
I
thought.
never even thought of that. That would be a really great one for Final Destination Part 6.
You mean part
Part
9 because
six,
there's
six,
8?
six.
Ooh. Oh my god, why don't they do that? Come on. One more, one
That
more. It won't hurt
someone
anybody.
gonna steal our
Um,
idea. It's a really good one.
okay, so the next one is the Final Destination. And that right there should have been a clue to us about the 5th one
Mhm,
because this is the Final Destination. This one is written by Eric Bress, story credit, of course, to
mhm.
Reddick, and directed by David R. Ellis. A horrifying Okay, I'm just getting tired of reading these short summaries. A horrifying premonition saves a young man and his friends from death. Okay, no, this one does say during a racetrack accident, but terrible
Mm,
fates await them nonetheless. Okay, Alma,
okay.
tell us who all the wonderful people are in this one.
Okay, this one's great. I don't think anybody really stands out in this one. They're all just going to get totally destroyed. Bobby Campo is Nick. He's the premonition boy. Chantel Van Stanton as Lori. That's his girlfriend. Mike Kelty Williamson as George. He's the security man in this one. And I always remember him because he was so hilarious in, oh my gosh, what is Oh my gosh, with Whitney Houston in that movie that we watched 2,000 times. Oh my god, I had a total like brain. I just cannot remember
And
the
I have
name of
no
it.
idea what you're talking about either. You'll remember it once we
Oh
start
my gosh,
talking.
yes. Okay. Anyway,
Okay.
he's in that movie and he makes me laugh so much. Nick Zane is Hunt. Just I almost said the other word. Oops, sorry. Justin Welborn as, and he's just credited as the racist. Haley Webb as Janet. Krista Allen as MILF. Andrew Fiscella as the mechanic, Jackson Walker as cowboy. And I wrote them in there like that because this is actually how they are credited in the movies. Some of these people actually have names, but they're only in the script and they weren't used for the movie. So
Yeah,
that's
and
just
she
their
has
name.
like, for example, MILF, that actress always gets cast as the beautiful woman because she's beautiful. She's a beautiful woman.
Mhm.
But it's so sad that she gets it's just MILF. It's just MILF. They could have easily
Waiting to
given her a
exhale.
name. Oh,
Sorry, I'm waiting to exhale was the movie.
I
Waiting
don't
to
think
Exhale
I
with my Kelty Williamson. He's the guy who dates one of them and he's outside and he's like, you old raggedy bitch or something. And he shows
I
up
don't think I've
drunk and
seen that movie in forever. Now you make me want to
oh
see
my
it
God.
again because it's been
He's
many,
so,
many years.
yeah, he's so funny. So in this one, two of the people get together, but they also get together with the security man from the racetrack. Now, see, this is the one, it is only 82 minutes long. That is how short this movie was.
That
It
must
was
be why it's so underwhelming to me.
Yes, it's a
Ah.
complete afterthought. It's like, hey, let's just make this one a 3D movie. And then they're just having these horrific deaths. Now, I really like the idea of having this huge accident at the racetrack because it's like a crowd. Anywhere there's like a huge crowd, a lot of people, there's going to be stampeding. And it went into it in this one. It took a long time. There's shit falling down, there's stairs crashing, there's shit flying from the cars, exploding and chopping up people. It is really messed up.
Oh, a little beer hiccup. What are you drinking, by the way?
I'm having Modelo.
Oh, there you go.
it,
I know. I'm sorry
but
for calling you out like that.
it's okay. I've had a couple. Do you like my beer cozy though?
I do.
Let me
I do
see.
like it. That's
Chingon. I don't know
funny.
where I got
Where'd
this
you
one.
get
Somebody
that?
got
I bet you that
no clue.
no, not me valle.
Maybe that place that I get all our Mexican stuff from. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I've had a couple of those, and we're talking
Okay.
about which
So
one?
you already forgot. It's the Final Destination. So the fourth
Okay.
one. Okay, let's pick our favorite kills. Oh, actually, really quick, the taglines for this one are
Ooh.
"Rest in pieces." Haha.
Mhm.
Okay, "Death saved the best for last," or "Death saved the best for 3D." Unfortunately, I
Yeah.
cannot agree with that last one because no,
It
no,
wasn't
no.
very good. It was completely just capitalizing on the whole CGI that they were doing and 3D effects. This one also, I'll give a trigger warning for it because it has hate speech in it. This one is that racist is racist in it. It
That
is. So
racist
if you
was
can't watch that
racist.
one,
Yeah.
yeah, I for some reason you might I don't I think it's because I've watched the film and it's not really the one that you really have to pay attention to. So
Mm,
things like that might go unnoticed. Yeah, because I'm like, I don't
I
ever think I caught things
it's
in
bad.
it that I'm like, dude, I've watched this movie a bunch of times,
Mhm.
but I guess I've never really paid attention to that dude because this one, everybody's just getting killed off really quick and you really don't
Yeah.
have any background on anyone.
There's really
So,
nothing going on other than the death, the death, the death.
mhm.
So for this one, actually, my favorite death was his, the racist.
Yeah.
He's dragged by his own tow truck when he went to go. Did he go to cause trouble or did he go to cause a death when he went there to that guy's
Either
house?
one. Either one. He had that big
Because he
cross he was
totally
gonna burn
deserved,
on his
yeah.
lawn. Mhm.
Oh, that's what he was doing. See, because that cross is on the back of tow trucks, and I always think like it looks like a cross, but it's to tow cars and stuff like that. But I
Mhm.
didn't
Mhm.
realize that. I always thought he was going to go get the guy and put him on it. So either way,
Oh,
I
I
get
never even thought of
yeah,
that.
yeah. So
Okay.
anyways, but his death was my favorite because he was the racist, because he was just so obviously deserved to get got. So
Mhm.
yeah.
And I think that yeah, I would have picked him, but I thought it was the creativity level of the poor MILF woman who when she was leaving the salon because the whole time I'm thinking her kids are going to die because she was with her husband and her sons at that racetrack thing. So when they kept showing the kids fucking around and running around and everything, I kept thinking it was going to be the kids and I forgot completely that she was one of the ones on the list. And so when that lawnmower kicked up the rock and it went right through her eye, that was really messed up. And I think really undeserved because she
That
was,
was
you know,
yeah.
I like that was out of nowhere. And her kids were standing right there and saw her die.
That was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. Okay, so that was the fourth one. Again, most underwhelming, I think. So let's go on to the last one, the last of the Final Destinations, Final Destination 5. This one is was in 2011. It was written by, I'm gonna screw up this name. I'm sorry. It was written by
Mm,
Eric Heiserer,
that
and
looks like.
it was directed by Stephen Quayle. And the short summary of this one is death returns to claim the lucky survivors of a deadly bridge collapse in this fifth frightening installment in the series. I mean, they didn't even try with that one, I think, with that
Yeah.
short summary right there. The
Mm-mm.
taglines are death has never been closer, we all share a common destination. That's kind of creepy and sad when you put it that way. Or
Mhm.
kill or be killed. Okay, Alma, can you
See?
tell us all the wonderful people? Yeah, tell us all the cool people that
See?
were in this one.
That one's the one that I felt like had the spoiler in it. So it stars Nicholas de Gosto as Sam, Arlen S. Carpetta as Nathan, Emma Bell as Molly, Miles Fisher as Peter, Ellen Rowe as Candace, Jacqueline McKins as Wood as Olivia, PJ Byrne as Isaac, David Kushner as Dennis, Courtney B. Vance as Agent Block, Brent State as Roy, and Tony Todd as Bloodworth. That one has a lot of people because each one of those guys pretty fun and fantastical.
Okay, and in this one, it does start off by the premonition starts on a gate. It starts off on a bridge. They're in a bus. They're headed out to a work retreat, and everybody's in the bus. And one guy has his premonition. They all get off, and when they show, they actually thought they did a good job showing the deaths in this one in the premonition. They were kind of like they're all very um believable the way everything happened. The way I terrified of like every time I'm on any kind of bridge, when I'm on a highway bridge, a bridge going over water, a bridge going over no water, it doesn't matter. I'm always terrified when we have to be at a standstill on them. um I know there was that bridge collapse in South Padre Island. That was the closest to home it ever hit for me. They happen. It's scary. It scares me. So this one always kind of unnerved me a little bit. Like it's probably the most one that could definitely happen. But okay, anyways, now I'm babbling. So real quick, I want to say that my favorite death out of this one was actually the one of the gymnast, and her she was Candace. Because first of all, that was really her as a gymnast, wasn't it? Or no?
I know that they had a gym, like the gymnasts in the background were real, but I didn't even think about it. But I think it was her. I didn't even realize that.
I always watch her face to see if it's her, and it looks like her. But anyways, I because you know me, I always had a thing, like I wanted to be a gymnast, and I love watching the gymnasts go because perform, because they're just so fucking talented at the shit they can do. And so watching all the gymnasts doing their thing in this scene, I'm just always like, gosh, they're so talented. And then the way she ends up dying so horribly, the way she lands and then she dies. And I when I look at her too, I'm thinking like that could really be her, the gymnast, like with her body like that, and then they just do the rest in CGI or makeup to make it look like she got gnarly really bad. But I don't know. That's why that one's my favorite, because it's all because I'm watching all this like, oh, look at that talented person, look at that talented person, and then watching her, and then kablooey, she just like breaks in half. It's just horrified. It's so
Yeah, that's the
horrifying.
only way to describe it. I said she got folded in half. And the thing is, I think she's one of the ones that she was mean in the beginning of the movie. Remember, she was body shaming one of her coworkers, told her she
Oh,
needed to hit
she
the gym,
did.
all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. So when she got it, it wasn't like a big surprise that she was going to be like the first one to have a really horrible death. But I think it's the other one also, the one that she was body shaming, that goes to get the LASIK surgery because she got it really bad. Like it was just really too long, and it's like
Her
the
death was
laser is cutting her
sad.
up. She was holding the teddy bear, and
Yeah.
then there's the eyeball. She's screaming. Nobody's coming to her aid, and then she falls. Like she got it like the worst. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's like a lot of them that got it. Where, you know what I
No,
mean?
but yeah, it was pretty bad because it was a whole bunch leading up to the way she finally ended up dying, because it was, and also because it was really sad. What did she do wrong? I don't
Mhm.
think she did anything wrong, and she got killed it
No.
horribly. But no, the
Mhm.
gymnast one is my favorite kill. I will say this. I said in the beginning that I wanted to come back to this one, because this one is a prequel. It's the
Mhm.
fifth in line, but it comes before the first one, because we end up seeing them get this whole time he was talking about he was going to become a chef, and or he was a chef, but he was going to go off to Paris and blah 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 blah. And then finally, when we see him and his girlfriend heading off to Paris after they survived everything, um, and it turns out it's the first plane. It's the first plane that went down. So my thing is, what's it called? Tony Todd's character in this one told them that death does this. So that what that means is it's happened before the very first time it's happened. Am I making sense or am I not making sense? Because basically, if you look at it this way, the fifth one is the first move, is the first in line of all these movies, right? It's the first time that we know of in these five movies that it's happened. They, because they end up getting on in that plane. But Tony Todd in this movie, in the fifth one, which is really the first one, tells them death comes for those after whatever happens. So it's happened before, and he knows it.
Mm.
Is this not making sense? Because it totally makes sense in
Well,
my brain.
the
It
thing
makes
is, I
sense
think
in
this
my
the
brain
wrap
because he says
around
it.
the wrap around that happens with these movies is what I think is so genius. It was unexpected, out of the blue. It just came out of nowhere when they board that plane and they're on that plane. It is just so freaking genius because they're on it and then they show Alex getting hauled off of the plane screaming about the premonition. It's like, oh my God, they're on that flight 180. And it just was like one of the best fucking twists. It didn't even a twist. Um, it was so great, and it still
It
gets me.
was.
I watched it a few times just to watch them leaving and then staying on the plane because you're left with the two of them on the airplane. They explode, and then the foreman, the security, not the security, the construction supervisor, Nathan, he is just down on the regular ground and the airplane explodes above him and he gets taken out by the debris of the broken
I
airplane
know.
or the exploded
So he
airplane.
was the
And it
last one to get taken out, and because you do kind of forget about him for a second. You think that it's the other two that are the last ones, the ones on the plane, and then it's like when it comes back to him, it's like, oh shit, yeah, he did survive, and then he doesn't.
mhm. And then he
That sucks.
doesn't. And so yeah, and the it was so well done because there's no clue. There's nothing that I saw during the making of the whole thing, that making you think that this is something that happened before all the other movies. The only hints you really have is like the Paris thing, the Tony Todd being there. Kind of, I honestly like really like the part where they confront him. They're like, "What are you always doing at all these places?" And he's the mortician, and he's like closing his van, and he's like,
I
"Cause this
know. It's
is
like
my job."
exactly, that's my job. But that's why it always like he does. In this one, he says he basically tells the story without telling the story. Kind of like when I was reading the summary of each of these movies and it was exactly the same. He basically says what's going on, and it's supposed to be the first one. So that leads me to believe that it has happened many times before. And he knows about it, so then therefore maybe even though I think he ends up being literally deaf, in my opinion. Even though they try to give him humanity, kind of, those points of humanity throughout the movies. Um, but anyways, okay, so we already said my favorite of the series is this one, the Final Destination 5. We talked about our least favorite of the series. We talked about our favorite kill in each movie, but now we're gonna go to our favorite kill overall of all the movies. Do you know off the top of
Ooh.
your head yours,
Hmm.
or I can go first because I know my favorite overall kill, and I purposefully did not say it during this movie because I didn't want to give it away. But it's the guy
Hmm.
from Part 4, The Final
Hmm.
Destination, who gets disemboweled in the pool. That
Oh
one is
my
my
God.
favorite,
Yeah.
absolute favorite, because he was jerky,
Hmm.
and then when he goes down to get his coin, because he dropped his coin, and for some reason the water getting sucked through, because that's another fear of mine, because I think I ended up seeing that in a movie before, where somebody,
Hmm.
and I think it has happened before, where somebody got their foot caught in the thingy and then they end up drowning down there. But he wasn't going to go out just drowning, because his backside, his butt gets kind of pulled into that little thing that's sucking at the bottom of the pool. He doesn't just drown, because that's what we're thinking. Like maybe he's just gonna drown. No, he gets
Oh
disemboweled through his
yeah.
butthole. It's
Ugh.
horrible, and it just shoots out of the other end and then splat. we see his innards. Just so horrible. That's my absolute favorite kill out of all the movies, just hands down. Even though for me that particular movie is like the most underwhelming, this his was my favorite kill of all of them.
Okay, well, I'll pick two then because I'm gonna go with the Final Destination and Part Three in the way that they killed a group of people all together at once because they waited until they all got together. So in the third one with the roller coaster one, we have three that it looks like are gonna survive, and at the end they all go off in their merry ways, and the one girl bumps into her sister on the subway, and then she bumps into her best friend's boyfriend on the subway, and the three of them end up being in that subway, which was like another huge bizarre freak accident. And then the fourth one, because the three of them are like, yay, we're gonna be all like great and everything, and they're meeting up at that cafe, and a giant truck barrels through and kills them all, and it's shown in the 3D x-ray kind of format, them squishing and one of them getting beheaded and everything like that. So is that a cheater
Yeah.
way of picking that?
No, why not? That's a cool way of doing it. Although you mentioned it, then each of the movies at the beginning, um, I think it's each of them, they give little hints of how everybody's gonna die. So I did want to mention that. I'm sure it took me forever to figure that out. Actually, I don't think I even figured it out on my own. I think I ended up having to read that, and then as I watch them now, I see, oh yeah, that's right. That's how so and so dies, and that's how so and so dies. But I do like the way you said that one ended with instead of showing just straight out their deaths, it showed like through X-ray vision, how everybody dies. So
Well, here's the thing too. If you pay close attention, in the first one, we have a couple of people that looked like they survived the first one, but they killed one off by writing him off screen. The second one did the same thing because we had two survivors at the end, the officer and the woman who had the premonition originally. They were written off on a extra so that you would know that the two of them got killed in a wood chipper. It's shown off screen, and that's kind of shitty to not give them their death on screen. So I think that's why they went through the trouble in the third one and the fourth one to show you at the end that they all got, killed. So that way there was like the loop was ended and everybody's killed real good by death. So
because
yeah,
after the
so
first one, we realized everyone's gonna die. So after the first one, we
mm,
realized that they should have. Yeah, you're right. Instead of doing it like kind of like that, probably they didn't really know how to kill them, and they only thought about it. It was an afterthought how later. But
mm.
anyways, that was all five, and we managed to do that in just barely over an hour. I was hoping to keep this under an hour because me and you talk way too much sometimes, or at least I
Yes,
do.
I do. I'm bad.
And we
And
we we managed to do it. So yeah, I really love this. This is probably one of my favorite series of horror movies, because they're fun. They don't have to
mhm.
be the greatest movies of all time individually, but as a whole, all five of them together, they're fun. It's a fun series. I like these movies, and I can watch any of them like over and over, like so many times, and
And
not
there's a
get
lot
bored.
of Easter eggs. Is that what it's called? Easter eggs when you see a lot of stuff like the repetition of the 180, finding watching each movie and seeing the little clue as to how they're going to die. You see one of them and it's like, "Oh my gosh, that's awesome."
That's
Um
awesome.
See, it's great because I was watching one of them, and it's like, remember the perv guy who gets killed
Mhm,
while he's getting his massage with the acupuncture? He
mhm.
plucks himself with a needle at one point, and it's like that's the way that he's going to die later. One of the girls drops a
Ah,
picture frame, and the picture frame is of her and a friend on that ride in the roller coaster that
oh,
crashes
you
later.
kind of went
It's
out. I
like
think we
there's
might have
so
lost you,
many
Alma,
times
but
you watch
no,
each one of these movies, it's exciting.
yeah. All right, so we'll go ahead and close it up then. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight, and that was fun to talk about. If you haven't watched any of these movies, if you have watched them, go out and watch them again. Because like I said, I never get tired or bored of ever watching these. But
Nope.
thanks again. All right, until next time. Good night.
Bye.